Hello and welcome to Qsports. I am Umudu Gajaga and thank you very much for joining us. On tonight's Qsports, it's going to be so special because normally artists or musicians are meant to just be singing songs, entertaining people, and they would dance and enjoy the songs. But it appears something different is happening. Guess what? They are going to play against the professional players of the Gambia. How and what a match is it going to be? 7 Eritrean players have absconded when they played the COSAFA Challenge Cup in Uganda, and we would also be talking about a league match in Tanzania where players have to run for their lives because a swarm of bees invaded the pitch, stinging the referee, the players, and even fans in the stand. This and many more on Qsports. Yes, as we talked about, it's the Gambia professional footballers who are currently on holiday in the country who are going to play against the artists. Well, the STs, the Jizzles, the Big Fast, all of them on Tuesday at Q City. With me in the studio is Gambia's one time, or I would say, he has been in the Gambia national team for over a decade. Ibrahim Sohna is my guest. Sohna, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's a friendly game. It's a charity match. Tell us, why did you organize this game where you're going to play against Gambian artists?
Well, it's something I've been thinking about, and I want to do something which will bring people together, and football is the easiest way, and not just to use the Gambian professional, but to make it with artists, because the artists too, they have their own fans, the footballers they have, and everyone loves football. And with this, we're gonna raise a fund, something I have been doing on my own, but to bring people together, that's a contribution, and then it's gonna give other people the idea to do something for others who need it. So it's not just to come and have fun, but it's to give the message out to the people out there, and people who have something, they have the money and they don't have the heart. At least we're going to give them the signal that, like, if you take a dollar from your account and give it to the boss, it's not gonna finish your money in the account, and there's a lot of people who need it, people who are like, they don't have food, and you have this mattress, and you have in the village they don't have clean water. So it's something I'm creating to expand it, to not only for this year, but to make it continue, to give people who need it, give back to the community. So basically it's like a continuation of the charity work that you've begun. You've helped in rebuilding schools, you've helped in providing books for children, you've helped in so many projects. One of them was in Yundum. Well, obviously it's always good to give back, but apart from that, having this friendly with the artists, what is it going to bring? You've talked about the message there, obviously, the positivity, the cohesiveness, togetherness. You can see, like, some people, they know it's going to be a fun game, it's going to be interesting, you see
Even
like,
me, I want to be part of that fun.
Exactly.
Yes,
like, if you see like Gisul or Big Fa or ST or Attack, I cannot name all of them, singing, and you don't know whether they have something in. They have the skills,
to play football.
To play football, and you can see the videos, out, like the message they are giving out. I'm Messi. I'm gonna be a striker, and so it's interesting out there. So you can see a lot of people wanna watch that, to see what they have, what their superstars are in. And the other thing, okay, it's fun. The other thing is a message to give out to, like, we have to have the heart to help out.
Having the heart to help out, that is giving back to the community. Yes, we've seen in Europe or at the professional level, players would buy a fleet of cars, players would have a mansion, players would, live all sort of luxurious life. But why do you think there is the need for a player or a particular individual to give back to the community?
As a person, like, okay, in Gambia here is 80% of the artists or professionals who have been, live in a poor way. Your mom or your dad, they cannot even provide a food or even to pay your school fees. And if you have been working hard and then God give you the chance to start to earn, and then you have lived that life before. I mean, you should be like, you know, your mind should be reflect the way you was living, and then now God give you a little bit. I mean, you should share it, you know. And because the more you help, I mean, the more God make it easy for you. You know, I think some people, that's what they don't know, you know. Because some people, the problem is like, they're like, okay, I'm gonna take out 1 million out. What am I gonna have in return? I mean, for me, personally, that's like God. You give that 1 million, but you don't expect that you're gonna have that more, you wanna have something back. You are doing it because of you wanna do it for God. I mean, then the payback should come from God, not from them. You understand? For me, I have lived that life like I need something, I cannot have it. I have lived that life, you know. So, and sometimes I see some things like I feel it. So if I cannot do everything, but at least I do a bit. So that's why now with this, I know other players too, they want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. So that's why I said this is a message. Because on that day, we're going to have people, we're going to give a speech and stuff so that the other players, other musicians can have the message, what I'm giving out. Because this is the right way to do it. You have everyone there having fun and then give out the message, you know, yeah.
And then, you know, we have to talk about the fun aspect of it. Some of these artists, maybe they may have played street football, but I've not known any one of them who have played even up to Nawetan level, playing against a professional. That should be something very entertaining, very interesting.
Because if you listen to some of the musicians, I mean, their interview, you know, you can, like example, like Jesus, because he was like, I mean, active in football when he was young. He wanna be a professional, but then that was no, I mean, it's not what God said, like he's gonna earn money from, and then he switched to music. So you have, and it's not only him, but there's other artists who you know, they have been playing, but they don't have the chance to make it. So, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like I say, I mean, let everyone come out and give the support, and they're gonna have fun. Yeah.
When we talk about professional footballers, these are players who are often based outside the Gambia, playing football week in, week out, and this is their holiday period. They would have, most of them would have 2 weeks breaks, especially if you're playing in Italy, if you're playing in Spain, if you're playing in Finland, Sweden, Denmark and Germany. Well, of course, for the Premier League, they would even want to play on during the holiday. But for these players, when they come back, how is their interaction with society?
Well, first, even before organizing this, I message a lot of the players, and we have in the national team we have a WhatsApp group. So I put the message out there, and then I wait for the response from the players who's gonna be in holiday, because some they plan their holiday to go to another country and stuff, you know. So all of this, you have to put it in place before you confirm it. So I have like most of them, I have their, you know, I mean, they're confirmed, like they're gonna make it. And like Omar Koli, especially him, like he was supposed to travel with his wife out, but when I explained to him, I mean, he canceled it, and you know, he's in the Gambia now just for this game, you know. So I just have to say thanks to all of them, you know. And you have here, Hassan is here, Nda is here, Hamza is here, so Ken Mansare is here, and there's a lot, Sirif, and I cannot mention all of them, but there's a lot of professionals here right now. So, and all of them, they're ready to play the game tomorrow. And you have Dauda Gom is here, most of them, Jack, and you know, so it's a lot. So. And on the artist side too, you know, I mean, you can see the way they are making calls. They will now be a part, and they are making videos to show that they're gonna be in the game. So everything is on top.
So it's like the turnout is really expected to be good, because if you have the artists who have huge following in society, so many people love their music. The footballers also, whenever they're playing at the stadium, fans would fill up the stadium. So the expectation, as far as turnout is concerned, is huge.
Yeah. We expect that, and even though the turnout is not, I mean, even if it is not that huge, but this is the starting. Like I said, we just start this like in one and a half months, you know. So we like, this is the starting, and I want to do it to continue. Even if I'm not here, but I want people who are, I'm gonna set a team who will like continue to do it, you know. So I think the second one will be even better. Because
are you going to give it a name? Would you give it a sort of, you're establishing a charity, give it a name, or basically you would just be organizing this friendly football matches and the proceeds that you get from there, and then you spend it
for
on
me, like,
helping people?
I mean, to have this foundation is something which is good, to be honest, because some people, they do it from their heart. They use the money and put it in. And some people use foundation to help, but at the same time, they are taking the money which is not belong to them. You understand what I mean? And that's not right. So that's why for me, personally, like, I don't believe that, like, in foundation, like taking money from people abroad or whatever. For me, I don't say it's bad, it's good, because you are creating something to give back. So I always want to do something which is coming from even the school or the boreholes I do in other villages and stuff. It's like, it's my money, not from anyone. So this one, like I said earlier, is just to bring people together, and everyone, if you take part or if you buy a ticket, you are contributing into someone's life. You understand what I mean? So for me, this is the message.
So as far as you are concerned,
I don't want to give it a name, but what if I even have to give it a name? It's like the whole Gambian gonna be among of it, or the artists, the professionals. It's like we are together, not Ibrahim Asona, but I mean the artists and the professional. We are one. So that name have to be like for everyone, not only me. And then sorry for that. And there is a person who I am working with. This is Red Sam. He's on the music side. So we two of us. We are the one who start this together. So for me to mention his name, his name is Red Sam. Yeah. Okay.
Ibrahim Asona, we cannot close this program without talking about the recent achievements of the Gambian national team. Yes, we are yet to make it to the Africa Cup of Nations. We are yet to make it to the World Cup. But this time, hopes are very high. Just like in previous qualifiers, you played against Angola away. You won by 3-1. The return match also, you played against DR Congo. It ended 2-2 at the Independence Stadium. What sort of feeling? And when you look at the Gambian national team previously, you've been there more than a decade. Is the feeling different?
Well, yeah, with these last two games, I mean, it's different for me, especially. I can feel like we are heading in the right direction, to have all the young players, all the players together. I mean, not like some saying like I'm not coming and stuff, because we need everyone. Everyone is important. Because I can feel like, especially these last two games, I feel like 2005, the under-17, that like feeling we have like, okay, we can score anytime. Because we have the players who can create, who can do it, So that's the feeling I have. So that's a positive feeling.
That's a positive feeling. And do you also think the momentum, because there's going to be a long break, you don't play your next game until 2020. That's the time you're going to play your next match in March, and also in September and October and November, which is going to be your final game. You'll be playing against Gabon away, and Gabon will also be coming here. You would also play against DR Congo away before your final match against Angola at home. Do you have that feeling that finally this is the right moment?
Yeah, as a footballer, always you have to have the feeling, and you have to. I have the feeling, and the other thing is like, that's true, the break, in between. So, but the federation and the coach, and the coach especially, is like putting everything in to have like few games in between, not to just, what I mean, sit and wait. Because in Gambia, that's have been our problem before. We don't want to spend we don't want to spend money because it's like expensive. It's a friendly game, and that's the games who can make you qualify. Because the players have to, what I mean, be together at least 2 or 3 games in between before the game, and the coach can know, what I mean, his players who are who are in form or who are not in form, and invite other new players in case someone is injured or in case something happened in between. You know what I mean? So it's very important. But I know everything is going in the right direction. The federation are ready, and we're going to see what will happen at the end. Yeah.
That's the Gambia national team. Looking forward to positive results there. Ibrahim Asona has been my guest on this program, and we were talking about an international friendly, or I would say a local friendly match between the Gambian artists and also the professional players who are on holiday in the Gambia. And the match is on Tuesday at Q City. So you can go out there, give the support. It's a charity. Basically, all the proceeds are going to be given to people who need it most. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah.
We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we are going to discuss a whole lot of issues on this program. 7 Eritrean players have absconded when they played the COSAFA Challenge Cup in Uganda. And we would also be talking about a league match in Tanzania where players have to run for their lives because a swarm of bees invaded the pitch, stinging the referee, the players, and even fans in the stand. This and many more on Qsports. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Qsports, and I am Mamadou Gajaga. We're going to talk about the Gambia's First Division League. Matches are up and running, but there is going to be a little break, at least for a few days, because of the holiday. But as of the latest matches in Brikama, it was the champions, Brikama United, who hosted Real de Banjul. It ended 2-2 after Real de Banjul dominated the first half, scored 2 goals. Brikama replied in the second half. What an interesting match it was. And also in the other matches, it was Gamtel 1, Gambia Port Authority 0, Wa Banjul 0, Walidan 0. As it stands after 3 matches, it's the Gambia Armed Forces who are on top on 7 points. Hawks, after winning 2 and losing 1 to the Gambia Armed Forces, of course, they are on 6 points and in second place. Gamtel also 6 points in third. Real de Banjul have 5 points after 3 matches, in fourth position. The champions, Brikama United, lie somewhere mid-table in 5th position with 5 points after drawing 2 and winning 1. Babukasi, interesting First Division League. Where do you see it going? Real de Banjul, of course, Jara would want to win it after leaving Armed Forces for Real de Banjul. And Armed Forces, why not? They had a near miss last season. It was on the final day of the season that they missed out to Brikama United.
Well, thank you very much, Gajaga, for having me. And as I always say, the Gambian League, it's a league that you cannot predict. It's like the Premier League, that any team, any day, can just go away with the trophy. Last season we saw what happened, and it's like this season will be more interesting with almost 5 contenders in the league. I'm seeing 5 top leagues that are all possible winners of the GFF First Division League, and not forgetting the Second Division League as well. So the league is very unpredictable. We have teams that have really prepared themselves, as you rightly mentioned. Looking into the top 5 of the table, these are all possible teams that can come up. No disrespect to the other half of the table, but also because they can come up anytime. We've just played 3 games, as you rightly mentioned, 9 points for grabs, and you see no team dares to grab the maximum 9 points. It's 7 points, and the same happening with the Second Division. So it's very unpredictable. But the way it started, it started with life. It started with a lot of energy. I hope it finished that way. After the break, we will see some very interesting fixtures coming on the pipeline as we speak. Some of the teams that were really troubling the so-called big guns are on the bottom of the table, the likes of Fortune, Marimo. They are yet to click. It's too early, to say who is there, who is not going to make it. But I can tell you the 2019-2020 season will be another history in Gambian football.
Another history in Gambian football. And Second Division, you have an interest in the Gambia Second Division League, and it's also a very close context there. At some point in the first 2 matches, it appears Bombarda were doing very well, but somebody or some team have taken them over on top of pole position. That's Samga.
Well, it's the same, with the First Division. No team is here to grab the maximum points of 9 points, except if Gunjur can come up to win their 3rd game, because they're yet to play their 3rd encounter. They are with 6 points currently. Perhaps they might be a little bit different if they can win their last game compared to the First Division. But again, I can tell you the competition of Gambian football lies in the Second Division. If you ask those that are very, that follow the Gambian League, they will tell you Second Division is more competitive. This is a league that consists of,
because everyone is running
16,
for promotion.
Exactly, 16 teams.
They all want to get
you
into
have
the
to
top
go
division.
all the way play at Jara Soma sometimes, and come midweeks games are always interesting. You have 2 teams that are vying for that position to go to the First Division. Perhaps this year will be 4, knowing that this First Division will be increased come the 2020-2021 season. But I can tell you, it's drama. You will see one person on top. Right now, some guy claims the first position with 7 points. Don't be surprised after 5-6 games seeing them in mid-table or even in the last 3. So it's very unpredictable. That's Gambian football for you. And The second division is where I sometimes compare to the women's football, because second division, you are assured of goals. Just a few days ago, we saw a team winning 6. And when was the last time you had that kind of scoreline in the first division? So the second division is competitive, football-wise, you call it, and when it comes to goal, they are assured. You hardly go to a game. Yes, there are draws here and there, but they are very few. They are very minimal. You go to a game, you watch them, you definitely see goals compared to the first division, where, as I always say, 22 grown-up men will play the entire 90 minutes finishing goalless, but Gambia's football, the competitive one for that matter, lies in the second division.
Yes, that's from Babakar C. He said the second division is more competitive than the first division. You may argue with him if you want. You can follow us on our social media pages with your arguments. Now, let's cross over and talk about bees attacking players, match officials. And this was a game between Qsports and Young Africans Ladder and Iringa United. Is in the Tanzanian league. Okay,
they also have Young Africans.
Yes, they also have Young Africans.
Well, I also read the
players. If you watch the video, well, obviously you are going to see the video very soon. The players, some of them lay on the floor, some of them had to run for their life. The referee was also looking for a hideout, and then the fans in the stands, they also had to run. At least 8 minutes of drama.
Where does this coming from?
Well, some would obviously blame it on black magic. Wow. They said African juju was very powerful.
City Congo can do that?
City Congo, yes, some of the people. But, well, of course, some believe that these are just natural occurrences. No. The bees got onto the pitch and then did what they had to do, and they left.
Maybe they were migrating from one position to another.
One position to another.
Unfortunately, stormed into the stadium. But I don't want to believe it has anything to do with black magic, because if it's black magic, they would have attacked one team and leave the other team. But they came and then dismantled everything at the stadium, including the fans on the stand.
Absolutely.
I watched the video; it was so funny. With the reactions, but also very scaring. Bees when they attack you. Come on. We all know, we're all from the bush. We know how they are. It was very unfortunate. This is the first time I'm hearing such a scenario in a field of football. I've seen a lot of dramas, but this one was just unbelievable in Tanzania, and I hope it will repeat again itself. I hope the next time the bees come, they will just have to take a dive out and go to another place and attack the stadium.
The other interesting thing that we are going to talk about in African football is Eritrea. They are at it again. 7 players of the national team absconded when they played in the Sekafa Challenge Cup in Uganda. Uganda won the final by 3-0, and some Eritrean players decided that it's not safe for them. They decided to stay in Uganda. And this is not the first time. Yeah. They also played a World Cup qualifying match in Kenya and decided to stay. And the Kenyans have granted them refugee status. Because in their country, they have this persecution. People have been conscripted into the army against their will, and there are so many human rights abuses going on there. Well, this program is not political, but some of the reasons that these players would advance is because they are not having it their way in their own country.
This was exactly what I was going to say. Democratically, I think they also lag behind. And this is not the first time that these things are happening with the national team players. I remember some few years, I think since 2010, when players will go on national duties and then, will abscond and seek refuge in other countries because of the things that that are put on them that, goes against their will. Democratically, it's really lacking, and this is very unfortunate, and the only way they can seek refuge is through using sports. Players now have, we are fighting here to make sure you get all that is necessary to go and play in Europe. Unfortunately, they are training hard, try to be in the national team, to go play outside, to abscond. So there are two different agendas. The mind is not steady to definitely focus on really what you want to do as a professional footballer, or representing your nation is a pride. And every player should be proud of it. But if you're going there to represent your nation just to go out and abscond, that tells you there's something definitely wrong in your home yard. It's very unfortunate, and I hope we wish them all the best of luck. I'm in Eritrea, to make sure that they come out from the torment that they're currently going on, because without what you really want to do as an independent person, I'm not sure you can perform sports to the best of your ability.
This crazy thing in football called racism, it does not seem to be going anywhere, especially in the English Premier League. this is the third week there have been complaints of fans' racism towards particular players. Rudiger of Chelsea, when they played against Tottenham, Chelsea won 2-0.
I watched the game, and there's a time in the game when, Rudiger was, playing and at the same time trying to, talk to the fans that were chanting racist chants against him, and the referee had to stop the game, rush to both coaches, talk to them, But I think we have to graduate from this now. We've passed the stage where, fans will be, so-called fans will be on the stands, and then racist, saying words that are really unpleasant to black players, and these have been going on to almost all the
They call
leagues
them
in
monkey
Europe.
chants.
Monkey chants to bananas and everything. I think there should be stiffer, actions that should be applied in making sure that if we want to cope racism. I've been seeing them in the Champions
Some even
League.
suggested that the players should walk off the pitch.
I agree.
The other players should also be in support of them.
I definitely agree. These have been around for decades and decades, and it's like there is no way or no means that have been applied to make sure that this is stopped. All they do is wear their so-called captain bands, no to racism, do group photos, no to racism, and this is not stopping the fans from doing what they do best by really going against black players. I think the best thing to do is to walk out. If fans cannot be expelled for an entire season for watching game, I don't care.
How about punishing them to play matches behind closed doors?
Exactly. But these are all things that they are applying. UEFA are coming up with rules, but to me, I think they are very lenient. They are very, very lenient. If you want to cope, things like racism in your football, there are stiffer rules that you should bring in, hardcore rules that you should apply. If a fan does it, one fan, ban him for life from entering that stadium. If a group of fans do it, from a particular team, ban them. Let them play their next 5 games on closed doors.
Finally, we're going to talk about the African Footballer of the Year. Riyad Mahrez, Mohamed Salah, and Sadio Mane. Is it finally
Sadio Mane? Sadio Mane. I don't even want to go into looking into all what they did
and all what he
of
did.
all these players.
So there you go, Sadio Mane for Baboucarr Sy,
Yeah,
and we are going to close on that. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Qsports. Until we come your way next week, keep on sporting, and bye for now.